Yay! Looks pretty good. All right, thank you guys for being patient while I get that all kind of organized and set up for you. All right, as you guys can see, I always have a rewards code if you place an order with me. If it's $30, you will get the make and takes from today for free. I offer that every week. You have until Friday to place your $30 order using the code. If you bump it up to $50 this week, you'll get my make and takes. You'll get the free spool of this new reversible ribbon, and you'll get a celebration item, which could be the embossing folder or anything else that you choose. So during celebration, it pays to place an order with me. So hopefully you guys take advantage of that, get some make and takes, get a free spool of the ribbon, and get a free celebration item. So if you have questions about that or how that works, let me know. Okay, Susan says the 5 organdy ribbons in the celebration catalog will supposedly be available to order again tomorrow. Wow, that would be nice. I've been watching, I think the gingham paper is back. I'm hoping the punches come back because I'd like to do a class with some of those punches. So very, very popular items. So I'm going to leave this up here for now. But so let's talk about my kitty class. Have you guys seen? My kitty class is so, so cute, you guys. Look at him. He's on a little ball of yarn and he flips up. Can you guys see that? Ball of yarn. And then this little ball of yarn is what holds the card up. And it says, a friend like you comes around once in 9 lives. And then I have a little kitty on a bench that opens for a little treat holder. This bench was fun to make, you guys. And then I have a little kitty card. Oh, my cat came off. My little kitty with his little fish bowl of fishes, and then another kitty playing with some yarn. So this cat class actually comes with half a pack of the Needle Nook designer series paper, which I thought goes perfectly with the kitty, because what kitty doesn't like yarn, right? And it also comes with a spool of that old olive baker's twine. And it's only $20 for the class. You get all 5 projects, you get all that product, and it's only 20 bucks. Super, super good deal. And then if you need to add the stamp set or the punch, you can for a discount. And so there's options for that. So check that out. You have until the end of February to register for that class. And then you guys have probably seen my geared up class. I have a gift card holder that opens and opens out like this. I have it upside down, sorry. So this little toolbox. And then I have another gift card holder here that the band slides off and the gift card fits right here. So we'll be doing that one. And then I have a fancy fold card. I have 2 fancy fold cards and 1 regular card. This is our bench fold card here, like so. And I love how it folds flat, fits inside an envelope. So this whole class, oh, look, and a cashew. Don't know where the heck that came from. This whole class is available. There's several different options, but the class that comes without the stamp set or framelits includes a spool of the ribbon, a pack of the paper, and the geared metal elements, the classic garage metal elements. So you get a lot in this class. So it's going to be a really fun one, but you only have until the end of this week, till Friday, to register for this class. So go check those out. The links are on my project sheets. And so don't miss out on those. And I will try to send out a reminder at the end of this week for that geared up class. All right. So today we are playing with the embossing folder, and I wanted to see, you know, the different ways to color with this embossing folder, and then what I was going to like best. So this is really fun for me, like to actually just play and explore, and just see what I like. And I like that because there's no pressure of like what the outcome has to be. It was just, let's play and let's color. So I thought you guys would enjoy playing with me. There are 3 different ways that I'm going to color today. So I have 3 pieces of paper. One of them, the first one that we're going to try, is we're actually going to just take ink and put it directly on the embossing folder and then emboss the paper. The second way we're going to try is we're going to sprinkle some Brusho crystal colors on there and see what that looks like. And the third way is we are going to actually emboss it and then color it with the blends. So we'll see which way you guys like it the best, okay? So for our first one, we're going to need our big shot here. And since it's a dynamic embossing folder, it's thick and it only needs one of the regular plates. So you'll have one clear plate and your normal standard plate. And then of course your Big Shot. So what I'm going to try to do is just have my Big Shot here kind of off to the side a little bit so that you guys can see it. But also that I have a little bit of working space, okay? So, the side that I wanted to color with the green, so this was my goal with the green. I wanted the negative space to be colored green so that the flowers and everything, the impressions, would be white. So you're going to take the side that has the Stampin' Up! Logo on it and the Sizzix up at the top. That's going to be the side that we color. So I have my ink pad, and I'm literally just going to take the ink pad and transfer it directly onto the embossing folder. And you can see where it's putting color and where it's not. And that's exactly what I wanted. And I'm just kind of gently tapping to transfer the color, making sure that they're all kind of even. And I'm going to close this. And then we're going to lay our piece of paper down on top. And once you kind of lay it down, you can't really move it because then you're going to transfer ink everywhere. Close it. And then we'll put it in our Big Shot. Oh, probably want the whole thing on the base plate itself. There we go. That wasn't going to be good. All right, so let's check out our masterpiece. So we'll pull this up here and voila. So we have this really pretty background. And then what I did was, well, I kind of wanted the color to, you know, kind of blend in a little bit more because it looks a little spotty. So I just took my aqua painter and I just spread the color as best I could so that it didn't look so spotty and it looked more blended. I think you could also do it with your blender pen if you wanted to, but I thought the aqua painter was just a quick way. Just add some water to it, and I'm just going in between the flowers with it. Just filling in the color and just kind of blending it a little bit. And I'm not being super precise with it, as you can see. And I kind of like how it's like darker in some places and lighter in others. That looks kind of cool, actually. So just making sure, not getting it too wet. You don't want it too wet, but just kind of blending those colors. So this would be really fun. You could do this in all kinds of different colors. And you could even do it the opposite, where you color the flower side only and leave the background bare. So you could do that. And then I'm just taking a baby wipe and just cleaning out my folder. So very easy to do. Okay, not hard at all. So there's that. So there's one option to color, and I thought that was really cool and a very fun kind of monochromatic way to color. So the next way that we're going to do, like I said, is we're going to play with Brusho. I just want to make sure I get all the ink out. We're going to play with Brusho. And so for that, I'm going to put down this mat here, which is laminated, so that when I start spraying with water and stuff, I don't ruin my whole workspace here. So with the Brusho, have you guys played with Brusho before? Brusho is amazing. It is crystals that activate with water. So they're watercolor crystals, and they add color to your projects. And so what I wanted to do was I kind of wanted to put color and kind of color the different flowers and then run it through the embossing folder. So I decided that I was going to do my little roses with the red. So I'm just, see those little crystals? I'm just putting crystals down where the roses are because I want my roses to be red. Okay, I think that's all the roses. And then I thought, okay, well, I want some yellow flowers, so I'm going to do some yellow. It's not going to be precise, okay? Brusho is not precise, so I'm just doing some yellow flowers. I think that's maybe one right here. Okay, so I've got my yellow flowers. And we'll do some orange flowers. You could even do some blue flowers if you wanted. I'm going to do these little bunches of flowers here. And I'm just tapping. I have little holes punched in the lids. I just have one hole and it is perfect for as much powder as I need. And then I have green. I'm going to do some green for the leaves. Oh, I forgot one flower. Right there. Okay. So then I'm going to do some kind of green foliage around the flowers in some of those leafy areas. Again, you can tell it is not going to be precision here, just kind of in the general areas. So this is the fun part. Next, we have our sheet of paper here, and I have my aqua spritzer, and it just sprays water. I just have water in it, and we're going to activate the crystals. So we're just going to spray. Make sure your spray is facing the right way, and you can see that it's starting to activate the colors. Okay, then we're going to lay our piece of paper down in the center, close it, and run it through our Big Shot again. And just run that through. Okay, let's see what we created here. Again, this is all experimental and for play. Ooh, look at that. You have this beautiful, beautiful background. I love that. That is so cool. You can play with so many different colors and get so many different combinations, but look how pretty that is. And so again, you're just going to take your baby wipe and just clean off all of this extra color. I'm going to set that aside for a minute. Clean this space. And I don't think I need this mat anymore, but I'll just clean this off real quick. Don't want to make a mess. Don't want to make a mess. I already made a mess. Don't want to make the mess bigger. All right, so I'll set this aside. But look how gorgeous that is. So here's kind of two different coloring types. Right? Good, Karen. I can't wait. I'm glad you're playing with that. I absolutely love Brusho. I think people either love it or hate it. But I love Brusho because it's fun and the colors are bright and vibrant. And it's just really neat to see those colors come alive. I think it's a really fun medium for coloring. And for me, it takes the pressure away because you're not going to be precise or exact with Brusho. So there's no pressure for it being perfect. Oh, don't be scared to use it, Karen. Play with it. It's fun. Okay, and so for the last one, I thought we would just emboss it in white. And I want to make sure, probably should have done that one first. Emboss it with white and then color with our blends. So I'm just making sure that all that color is out of the little grooves. Now, if I weren't doing this live with you guys, I would take it and wash it and dry it with water just to make sure that I got everything out of the crevices. But since we're not going to have time for that, we'll call it good. I'm just going to make sure it's dry. So this time we're just going to emboss the piece of paper normally. And I'm going to just do this off to the side here. You guys don't need to see it actually crank through the machine. Oh, chamois would be a good idea. Thanks, Lisa. That's a good idea. Hi, Kathy. Okay, so here is our white piece. All right, so that's it for the Big Shot for now. Let's set that out of the way. Okay, so then I said, all right, let's color. So the colors that I chose were, this is dark mint macaron, light Highland heather, light calypso coral, and light daffodil delight. So I just kind of picked the colors that I wanted to color with each different flower. So for my roses, I chose the calypso coral, and I found that I liked the brush tip the best for coloring the flowers. The fine tip was too difficult to color. And then what I tried to do was just keep my brush tip flat and let it just color the raised portion, which is the flower, and not keeping it flat, like sideways, helped keep the color off of the negative space. I hope that made sense. So just coloring my flowers. And this is probably the most time-consuming version of coloring, but really, really cute. It's a cute outcome. All right, so this, again, this was all just playtime. I had no idea what I was going to create after I did this. So after I finish coloring this, I'll show you what our projects, what I turned them into, and I'll show you how I did those. So again, just coloring these flowers. Am I using thick? No, I am not using thick cardstock. I'm using regular cardstock. That's a good question. This is just regular Whisper White, and it worked perfect. I sometimes feel like when I emboss with the thick, or like even fold and crease, I get these, I get it like tearing because it is too thick. But so you're just going to go around and you're just going to pick the flowers that you're going to color and whatever color it is that you want to color them. And I'm just picking, so I did Calypso Coral and the big roses, and these little 4-petaled flowers I'm doing Highland Heather. And of course it's hard to see when you're not here in person, but you can see I'm just keeping my markers flat and just kind of trying to only get the embossed portion colored. And you can take a lot more time than I am doing coloring these flowers, but it's very therapeutic and fun. But I thought the colors played really well together. They're super cute. And so that's just how I colored these flowers. Just going around and colored some of these. And then, let's see, I got a little one here. And then a little one here. You're so cute. I love this. Even just white would have been pretty. Even just leaving them white would have been gorgeous. So then I'm doing these big flowers. Yellow. Right, Karen? So this one does take a little bit more time. It does make for a pretty finished product though. You'll see after and I'm not even doing it very carefully, but I don't think you have to. Again, it can kind of look like it's painted on there. And then I just went with our mint macaron back over and colored some of the leaves. Now the leaves for me were the hardest part, and I'm not doing it very carefully. But that's where I felt like I could get out of the lines a little bit easier was with the leaves, because they're skinny and separate from everything else. So you can see they're a little bit harder to do. So, but you just color those. And maybe with the leaves, it would be easier with the fine tip. A little bit slower going, but super cute outcome though, let me tell you. There's a big one here. But the Brusho, I think, is the funnest and probably the coolest colors. Got some flowers here. And I am not being careful at all. You probably want to take a little bit more care than I am doing here. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. But look how pretty that is. Like, you start to kind of see the flowers kind of building. You can do some little yellow centers to your purple flowers. I mean, you can get all kinds of fun and colorful and creative with these. So super cute. And so that's another way to color that. So we did 3 different colors. So see here. And so then I said, okay, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to turn these into beautiful projects, right? But look how different they all look. So let me show you the projects that I came out with these 3, okay? So first, you guys saw a little sample. I have this kind of monochromatic. I did add a little bit of gray into that one. So there's that. I have this one here that I turned my Brusho into. And then I have a cute little box that I turned my last one into. And I did coordinate my projects. So with the embossing folder, I coordinated my projects with the Part of My Story stamp set. I love this stamp set. The sentiments in it are absolutely adorable. And this stamp set is free with the $50 purchase. This is a celebration item. And I love all of the sentiments in this. And they went perfectly with my projects. So now that I've showed you the different ways to color, let's go ahead and actually turn these cute little pieces of paper into a project that you can give away. So we'll start with the green one and then we'll move on to the other 2. Super cute, right? I saw some hearts. I think you guys like it. Okay. The Brusho one is stunning. Yes, my husband said it as well. He loved the Brusho one. All right, so for this project, we have our sentiment and we have some of the gray granite ink, which we'll need. We have a piece of Granny Apple Green. This is the ink color that I used to color my embossing folder. So we have the Granny Apple Green ink that this is going to go behind. Now you could leave it as one full panel, but I cut mine up just to give it a little bit, I don't know, a little bit different, just shaking it up a little bit. I have some of the gray granite ribbon, which we'll tie around. And then the sentiment, I just used the layering ovals and I cut out a Whisper White layering oval and then a coordinating scalloped oval to put behind it. And then of course we're gonna need a sponge because we are going to sponge our Whisper White, okay? So let's go ahead and cut this down. I'll show you guys what you need to do to cut it down. Oh, and I did embellish today's projects with the Gingham Gala adhesive backed sequins. They come in Granny Apple Green, Grapefruit Grove, Highland Heather, Daffodil Delight, I believe, and Balmy Blue. So some really pretty colors that went, I think, really well with the projects. So let's go ahead and cut down our cardstock. So this, I cut each panel, I cut 4 panels at 1 1/4. Oh, it's locked. There we go. Okay, so 1 1/4. So I use this side to measure because this last line here is 1 1/4. So I just lined it up there and cut. Oh, that didn't cut. That's weird. Okay, there we go. So 1 1/4 and go down. 1 1/4. Down, and we are going to cut off a little bit at the end, but that's okay. So 1 1/4, and then our last one, 1 1/4. So now we have our 4 panels, and we kind of want to keep them in order because we're going to be putting them together kind of like a puzzle. So see there, we've got our 4, and we'll move this out of the way. Okay, so then the next step is to just glue them down on your project. So I think it's gonna go like this because I kind of want my rose to be seen in the center. So we'll just glue them onto our cardstock here. Now you can use tear and tape, or not tear and tape, you can use liquid glue or runner, either one. Liquid glue might work a little bit better only because you have a little bit of wiggle room. But you can see runner works just fine as well, as long as you don't need to move it around. Hi Stacy, thank you for watching and thank you for sharing. If you haven't shared my video yet, make sure you do that. And I'll be entering you to win your own embossing folder, the Country Floral Embossing folder. So there's that level, and then we'll do the next one. This is a really simple project, I think. You know, you're just coloring it with the ink pad, and then you're cutting it up and gluing it down, and then you put some ribbon and a sentiment, and voila, you have a beautiful card. So very simple card that you could do. Doesn't take a lot of work. And you can see I'm not really measuring the spaces in between, but it works out. So don't think that you need to get out your measuring and mark and all this stuff. Just lay it out. It's totally fine, I promise. So we're going to take our ribbon here and just tie a knot at the top. As you can see, I never cut my ribbon off of my spool until I have my knot tied. And the reason is because if you cut and you don't know exactly how much you need, you're wasting a lot of ribbon. So when you leave it on the spool, then you can tie your knot, and then you can cut down what you need. So you're not wasting. Okay, and then I'm going to trim this down a little bit. So there's our ribbon at the top. All right, so then the next thing is just to stamp our sentiment. Here we have the, I'm so glad you are part of my story. I love this saying. It's a very, very sweet. Just inking it up with the gray granite. Center it as best you can. Oh, that was crooked. I'm going to start over. Okay, that's better. I like that. All right, so then we've got that. And then we're going to sponge the edges. So I just took my sponge and just color the edges. With it being so green and colorful and not sponging, it makes it look too stark. It's just too white. So by doing that, kind of helps things blend a little bit. I'm going to clean my, look at my chamois. It's so inked up, and this is rinsed out too, but it gets stained. Okay, so we've cleaned off our stamp. Now we can glue our sentiment to our scallop. Like so. I put this on with a few dimensionals. So we'll put 2 on the back. And then I just kind of did it as at an angle underneath my ribbon. And then to hold it where I wanted it, I took some glue dots, just one glue dot, and my piercer. Where's my glue dot? There it is. Oop. And I just put it underneath the ribbon at the top of my scallop. And then just put my ribbon down over it so that it kind of looks like it's holding the sentiment down. So then I just embellished with my sequins. On this last one that I did, I just put one little flower at the bottom, but you could put sequins around, you know, inside the flowers around if you wanted, but you can embellish as you please. But there's that easy, beautiful, I think it's stunning. My daughter says you have to like green to like this card, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I hope you guys like it. So that one's the first one that I did with the first coloring. Probably the easiest out of all 3, right? Stained maybe, but still works great. Oh, my chamois, yes. My chamois is stained, but works fabulous. All right. So the next project is with the Brusho, and I think obviously you guys like this one the best, right? This one, the top one. I think I'm going to do my rose up at the top like that, and get a little peek of the rose. I think the rose is gorgeous. So my card just opens up like this, so I can write my sentiment inside. I used the "Here's to those who inspire us and don't even know it," which I think is absolutely stunning. You can see that I've cut out the circle in the center and I've made it my background for the inside of my card. So I thought that the cutout was just as gorgeous, and I wanted to keep that as part of the card. So kind of a fun way to play with this card. So for this project, this is Melon Mambo cardstock, and it's going to go on our piece of cardstock here, but we need to cut out the center first. So what I did was I went ahead and did this ahead of time, but I used my layering circles and I cut out a circle and a scallop. So you'll want to keep track of which circle you use. So this is the inside part of the circle that I cut out. This is the framelit. And then I did a layering circle or a scallop circle around it, and I just ran it through together and cut it out, if that makes sense. So I created this kind of window, and this is going to go to the front of our card. But I need this the inside circle to cut out my cardstock and my embossed piece of cardstock where I want it on the front here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, what do I want to do? I don't think I want to glue it down, but I want to cut them out together. So let's get our Big Shot. And we'll need our magnetic plate to kind of hold things steady. And I'm not gluing this down, but I want it to cut out in the same spot for both the front and the back. So hopefully I can cut through both pieces at the same time here. Just run it a couple times to make sure it cuts through. Okay, so there we go. So now, I don't know why it stuck to that. I didn't glue it. There we go. So now we have the inside piece and the outside piece. And now we can put adhesive on the back of this and glue it down. So I don't need my circle framelit anymore. So you can just put some runner, or you can put liquid glue. It's really up to you, whatever you choose. I'm gonna do around the circle as well. Okay, so once I stick this down, there's no wiggle room on this buddy. So I'm gonna first line up my circle. It's just stunning. I just love the effect of this Brusho on this embossing folder. I want to just go and emboss every folder I have with Brusho and see what it turns out to look like. It'll be kind of fun. So now I'm just going to put some liquid glue around the scalloped frame here. And just gluing that down. And I forgot to grab myself, oops, you can see that edge a little bit. Push it. That's what I love the liquid glue, is because you have a little bit of wiggle room with it. It may be a little bit more of a messy option, but you can mess with it a little bit. So I forgot to cut out the inside piece of cardstock, so I have to go grab one real quick. But they're not too far. Just gonna grab one and cut it off, cut it down to size here off camera. So the inside piece needs to be 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so there we go. Now we have that inside piece that I can glue down. And put that down in the center, like so. Okay, so for this piece, so for the sentiment, which I have here. And actually, I'm going to do it a little bit different. So I stamped it in the basic or in the Stays on Black ink, but I think I want to do it in Melon Mambo and see if I like it better that way. But I need to, because the circle isn't directly in the center, I cannot just stamp my sentiment in the center and call it good. So I want to place this, kind of position it without gluing it down, like so. And then I want to stamp on this piece through the window so I can center it. Kind of a risky thing to do, but it'll be okay. So I have it there. I have this centered. Hopefully I didn't go off. Wow! Ooh, ooh, oh, I like it in the Melon Mambo. Yay, I'm happy with that choice. Okay, so then now I know that when I glue it down, it will be centered and I can center my circle. So that's awesome. So the first thing we're gonna wanna do is clean the stamp off before I make a mess with it. Do you like the Melon Mambo instead of the black? I really like it. I hope you guys like that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is actually, I'm gonna burnish this down so it stays flat as possible. I'm gonna put some liquid glue in the back of my circle. And I want glue all the way to the edges because I want it to stick down. And then I know that my pink flower is there, so I'm gonna put it kind of back in the way that it was and just glue that down in the hole. And that way I know it's positioned perfectly. Oh, good, Rhonda. I'm glad you like it. I do like the Melon Mambo. Okay, and so then we can just glue our piece inside here across the circle. And I'm just going to use liquid glue. And if I center it in the circle, it should be centered in the front. So just a fun way to do a card by using this pretty Brusho. And I love the pink. I love that Melon Mambo, so bright and beautiful. And then I took some of these, I think it's supposed to be balmy blue, but I feel like it's very iridescent. And I just took some of these sequins and I scattered them around the front of my card just to give it a little bit of bling. Now with these, you have to be careful not to pull off the sequin and leave behind the adhesive. So I try to kind of get my nail underneath and yeah, super cute. Let's go crazy with the bling. So pretty, you guys. I love this card. And definitely my husband said that was his favorite. He thought this was really, really cool. And you can see that every time you do it, it's going to be a little bit different because of the way that you use the Brusho. So you can play with it and have fun with it and experiment. You know, if you don't like the greens or you want more yellows or you want to play with some blues. Very, very pretty. Okay. The last project is this cute little box, and I love this sentiment. You're my chosen family. This can go to a very special friend. It can go to an in-law. It can go to your spouse. And I just ended up cutting up the paper that I colored and putting it to around to decorate the box. And I thought it made a really, really stunning, pretty box. So hopefully you guys like how this turned out. I'll show you how I did that. It's super, super easy. Let me set this aside here and get out the pieces that I need. So I have everything I need in this box, hopefully. I have one of the mini pizza boxes, which we'll set aside for now, and then we'll use a little bit later. And I have some Grapefruit Grove ink, which is what I used with this project. Doesn't this look really close to Grapefruit Grove? And this is Calypso Coral, but I thought, I mean, they look really, really close in color. So these all worked really well together. All right, so I cut a piece of the scalloped square. This is the largest scallop square in the layering squares. And I cut 3 pieces of the Grapefruit Grove, and they measure 7/8 by 3 3/8. So I did 3 of them. Thank you, Cindy. I'm glad you like it. And then I have a piece of Whisper White for our label, and I can't remember the measurement on this one. This one is 2 1/4 by 3/4, and this one is 2 3/8 by 7/8. Just so it's slightly bordered there, like that. Okay, so I actually need to get my layering square framelits out. I didn't grab those. So let me grab those real quick. Layering squares. So I used the largest scallop square for this background. So you can see there, I used that one. So now I'm going to use the largest square to frame the, not to frame, but to be the inside of my scallop. So I used the largest square. And so we'll cut that real quick. And then from the scraps, we'll cut down, let's see if I can get this in here. From the scraps, we'll cut down the pieces we need for the side. Oh goodness, come on, there we go. Trying to keep it all nice and orderly. And then of course we have our sentiment. So cute. Okay, so we need our big shot so we can cut this piece out. It almost pained me to cut this, but it's so pretty. It is time consuming to color this. So for me, I felt like it was a risk when I didn't quite know what I was going to create with it. But it was definitely worth cutting up. I think it made that box just super, super cute. So I don't know what I did with my other plate. Oh, it fell. Here's my other plate. And we're gonna run that through. And that is an okay sound. If your Big Shot makes that sound, don't freak out. So now we have our pretty top there. Okay. And then we need to cut the rest down. So I'm gonna put this back with my squares before I lose it. There we go. Okay, so let's get our trimmer out. So I need 3 pieces of this pretty paper measured at, oops, I hit the camera. Oh no, I'm sorry guys. I remember I have to do it up here. Let's see. I need 3 pieces measuring at, so this is 3 3/8. So I think I need it to be 3 1/4. So let's cut this first one off at 3 1/4. Okay, and we need it to be 3/4 of an inch. I'm actually gonna do it the other way. 3/4 of an inch. So there's one piece. 3 1/4 by 3/4 of an inch. So now I need to do this piece as well. So we'll cut it down to 3/4. I mean 3 1/4. Goodness sakes. Okay. And then we'll cut it at 3/4 of an inch. So there's one. And all the measurements and everything I use today is all on my project sheet on my blog. So make sure you go over there and print that off for you. And it also has information about my 2 classes coming up. So you'll have that as well. Okay. So we'll just glue this piece down on this. And I'm just going to use liquid glue because it is a bumpy surface. So pretty though. I love this color combination. Okay. And then we need to tie a knot around it. Notice how I did knots and not bows this time? I don't know. I was trying to keep it simple for you guys or something. I know some of you hate that I'm always using bows, but the knots worked perfectly this time. Oh, that is not a pretty knot. I can do better than that. Notice how my paper like goes every which direction. Yay for knots. All right, there we go. That's a little bit better. We'll pull that tight. It's not really my best bow. My other bow turned out better, but oh well. Okay, so then you can just kind of fuss with your knot. And then we can trim it down with my ribbon scissors. Oh, There we go. Okay, so you want to do that step before you glue it down to your box, obviously, because then you won't be able to tie your knot. I want it to go sideways, but it's not really behaving. Okay, so then you have your 3 pieces that you're going to back with the pieces of Grapefruit Grove. So I'm just going to use liquid glue. I do too, Cindy. I love that ribbon. It's really pretty, and someone's going to win it. Whoop, whoop. So make sure you do my raffle copter drawing. So I'm curious. I want to know which one you guys like the best. Do you like the green card? Do you like the Brusho card? Or do you like the box the best? Taking a vote. We'll call it the box, the green, or the Brusho. Just curious as to what that popular vote is. Okay. So then we're going to stamp our sentiment, "You are my chosen family." I hope I cut this to fit. I think it's just barely gonna fit. So "You are my chosen family." Nancy, last night was really weird, but I had a dream that I went and crafted at your house, and your house was gorgeous, which I'm sure it is in real life. But I dreamt that we went and crafted together. Must be a sign that we need to schedule some crafting time. It was weird. All right, I'm seeing a lot of Brusho. Brusho, Brusho, Brusho. Okay, awesome. So you guys like that Brusho project. Good, I'm glad you guys like it. I think it's definitely the funnest card I made of all of 3 of these projects. And hopefully, if you've been terrified to play with Brusho, that you will do it now that you saw that I could do it. I do love Brusho. Okay, so there is everything's backed and paneled. So now we're going to glue onto our box. So to put this on our box, we are going to put adhesive on the back of our scallop square. I'm even going to put some on the ribbon. Karen, I'm talking to everyone. You're not the only one afraid to play with Brusho. I promise you. People are really intimidated by it. And it's fun. It really is. Just get messy. It does stain your hands. You can see my hands are kind of green, but it's fun. All right, so then we're going to glue down our sentiment here. Right in the center of our square. Okay, and then our panels are actually going to go on the bottom piece, because these are going to be the sides that you'll see when you build your box. Okay, so where's Patty? Patty, are you on? Patty commented that she loved the green card and she was waiting for me to prove her otherwise. I'm wondering if I proved her otherwise with the Brusho card. Patty likes to challenge me sometimes. Oh, she says, "I like the green, however, the Brusho is a very close second." Darn it, Patty. She likes the green best. That's awesome. All right, so we've got all of our pieces glued down, and now we can build our box. The best way that I have found to build the box is to burnish all of those edges first, okay? Definitely want to do that first because it makes the building of the box easier. And the other really important piece that people forget to do is take out these 2 little pieces on these side tabs. You need them removed. So make sure you take those off because your box will not fold up without that removed. Okay, so you're folding all the tabs, folding all of the burnish score lines. Score, fold. Okay, so once you've got all those folded, now you're going to build the bottom of your box. And so you're just going to turn in your sides, and these little pieces go right here, and this bottom piece folds up and tucks. and it just snaps right inside. And that's your box. And then you're gonna fold up the top, tuck in these sides, tuck in the front, and voila. You have a beautiful box. And then of course, we've gotta do our bling, right Terry? We gotta do our bling. And I just used some of these pretty Grapefruit Grove sequins, and I just blinged up the box. So super, super cute. What a precious little gift you can give to a loved one, a friend. Like I said, a good, like this, I thought of my sister-in-law. You know, I thought this would be really cute, even for like a bridal shower or, I don't know. I just thought it was a really, really cute sentiment. I absolutely love this stamp set and the sentiments that are inside of it, the part of me. We've got, let's get together and giggle. The world needs more people like you. You're my chosen family. I know that today a friend is thinking of you. I'm so glad you are a part of my story. And here's to those who inspire us and don't even know it. So all of these things ring true, and every sentiment in that set, I can think of somebody special that pertains to that sentiment. And so I hope you guys liked today's projects. Thank you so much for watching. Remember that if you place an order this week, you can get these projects for free. Everything to make the projects. I can emboss one of them. The other two you'll need to emboss on your own and color. But I will provide all of the projects for you this week. Just make sure you place an order with this rewards code. And if it's a $50 order, you'll get my ribbon for free. So thank you so much, you guys. Have a fabulous week. Hopefully you get some crafting in. And we will see you next Sunday for some more fabulous projects. Bye, you guys. Have a good week.